Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. As promised, I want to report a little bit about what I saw in Chinese factories, what I noticed there. So, as you can probably tell, I am not in China. As I said in my last video, I am actually now in Japan, making a little stop here. But nevertheless, I want to talk about the things I've seen in Chinese factories. I've been here, or well, there I should say, not for the first time. This was already my third tour to China. And let's just say, also you can get that from my videos from last year when I told you about that. The Chinese colleagues, or let's say the Chinese workers, the engineers, the technicians, the staff that I saw there and I worked together with last year, they were very, very competent, very, they made a big effort to get the job done, and they were highly motivated. Of course, their proficiency level hasn't really changed. Well, I have to say, if I compare my experiences this year, it really sucked that a lot of the people who were very competent back then, they were actually moved to another project or to other projects, let's say, and I had to train new guys again. But they were also smart. It is just tedious to always train them again and again. I thought that they would do that internally, but that's not really the point right now. The point is that, yes, their proficiency level is adequate, I would say. Not super bright, but it's okay. The difference I noticed, if you take the videos from last year, I talk about that there, but the difference I noticed this year is that the effort they make is not that big anymore. A lot of slacking off, a lot of I don't care mentality, a lot of not my problem kind of mentality. And this is what really shocked me, because I know this factory or this group as a highly motivated, highly driven. They had, I should actually say, they had the goal to be number one and all that stuff, this year, nah. I saw a completely different group, even though the middle and upper management didn't really change. So what I saw, for example, let's give you some details. I have to start out in Germany, for example. It is very much frowned upon, and in some places it's even absolutely verboten to use your private cell phone at work or to just check something. I mean, in most places it's okay, it's tolerated if you briefly check your emails, or if you call your family or your wife, or I don't know, if you have to make a reservation, if you have to call your doctor, something like that. It's okay if it's just 2 or 5 minutes, But in China, I noticed that a lot of them are actually using their private cell phones all the time. And I thought, and this is how it was explained to me last year when I was wondering about this, that they are using an app called WeChat that is pretty much the WhatsApp, and it can do much more. You can pay with it, you can buy concert tickets, train tickets, bus tickets, and of course it's also a messenger system. And they were using this all the time, but they told me they were using it actually for professional reasons. And I believe that. And maybe that is part of what they're doing. But this year, what I saw is people actually playing video games on their private smartphones. And they have the sound on loud. So you hear like action game sounds all the time at work, and they're just texting with their friends. And if you know what I mean, the stickers that they use in those apps, if you just briefly glance at their phones, these are not professional texting sessions. This is all private stuff. So I was already used to the fact that where in Germany there is one worker, in China there are 10. Because, I don't know, they just throw people at problems, and eventually one of the 10 people knows what to do. In Germany, one person has to know what to do all the time. In China, just, 2 people might be working on the machine, and 8 people are just standing there. with their fingers up their noses. But this year, it was just disastrous. I mean, people were just, they didn't even try to hide the fact anymore that they are doing other stuff, that they're using their smartphones to watch movies, to talk to their friends or their loved ones, or play video games. They were not trying to hide it. And I saw that that management, that the group leaders, they were seeing that. And they didn't do anything. They just, apparently this is normal. This is the message that I have to take from that. And this was a clear difference to just a couple of months ago when I was there last time. Or let's say a year ago or something, huh? Nah, more like 6, it doesn't matter, yeah? So not too long ago. And it completely changed now. So it means that apparently the leadership is okay with that. So I actually thought about that a little bit. What could that mean? What could that actually mean? It could mean that business is slow, and that because they are state-owned, everything is state-owned, private companies, my ass, everything is state-owned. I mean, the people with the highest authority in a Chinese company is always the Politkommissar, always. It's not the engineer, it's not the owner, quote-unquote owner, yeah? It is always a guy from the party, from the Communist Party, of course. He is the one in charge, and he makes all the ultimate decisions. He makes sure that the party line is implemented in every company, or well, in the one that he is in charge of at the moment, no matter what. And apparently they're fine with that. And apparently because they're not actually operating by free market principles, they're not firing people. They're not letting people go, even though business is down. This is how I interpret that, at least. So what I'm telling you here is very anecdotal. It is my experience. Was just in one factory. It's the difference between last year and this year. I know, very anecdotal, very, very subjective. I get that. But the difference was so large, and it is so shocking to me, because I would be fired for this kind of behavior right away. I would even, or also in America, or in Japan, or in Germany, if you play video games in front of your boss, you would be reprimanded first, and if you do it again, you would be fired. And there, everyone did it. Everyone. People, I saw that they were locking themselves up on the toilet, basically, and they were playing games there. And some of them were just playing in plain sight of their superiors. It was really shocking. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. So it could mean many things. I think, as I said, that business is slow and they're just not firing people. So that means the leadership communicates very clearly to them, look guys, we have too many people right now, so just, pass the time in some way, that is the most likely explanation for what I've seen. Yeah, and maybe if business goes up again, if sales go up and they have to produce more parts or what have you, then maybe they change those rules again. I don't know. That is my personal interpretation of what I saw there. Might be another reason that I'm not really thinking of right now. And the other thing is, of course, I think last time I told you about all the construction sites and all these gigantic housing complexes and these apartment buildings. One looks like the other, and they're not building one of them, they're building 20 of them at the same time. And I saw that still, but the ones that were still construction sites last year, they were finished now. But to tell you the truth, especially at night, you don't see so much light in there. Yeah, that is highly suspicious. And I talked about this with some Chinese guys, and they also told me that apparently they are empty. So they build lots of houses. They build and build houses, but nobody is really moving in. And I'm not an expert in these things, but for how long can that work? For how long can that be without a major real estate bubble bursting? So those are the things. So I guess I saw, and again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't really have an agenda. I just saw something that I think is very unusual, very strange to me, actually. And I'm just telling you these things as I saw them. And it could mean that the industry is actually not that busy anymore. Yeah, they have not so many orders right now, and they're not firing people, so they're basically operating at a deficit probably, or they don't make a lot of profit anymore. And there is a major real estate bubble. And I mean, this is not inside knowledge or something. You can read about that in the newspapers already. And if Chinese people are talking about that openly with foreigners, I mean, that just tells you that it's common knowledge. So the real estate thing, maybe, yeah, that is maybe not so such a hot topic anymore. But that people are just doing nothing while they're at work, while they're on the clock, I thought that was highly suspicious, and this is not really what I experienced a year ago. All right, so this is just what I wanted to share with you. I'm really enjoying the blue sky and the awesome atmosphere here in Japan, and I catch you guys again later. Be safe wherever you are. Servus, Kameraden.